And I would say today I'd like to talk about kind of my final takes on Godforge Quest. I think it's a very high value thing, by the way, but a lot of people are stressing about the choice here. I don't think this choice matters as much as you think it does, right? I don't think this choice matters as much as the information given, right? And today I'm going to kind of give my thoughts and kind of ease the minds of people that maybe doesn't earn a hero from this. Is it still worth trying to get get a weapon or imprint taken in the game? Sure. Right. Let's talk about it. Right. The first thing you might notice is I don't have a legendary locked in. Yeah, I have 3K shards up here. Right. Now I plan on doing a video, which would be more comfortable for me doing a video, or a live stream if there was enough interest in it to do a live pool. But here's the crux of the issue, right? And the reason why I don't have a legendary locked in, I had Hell locked in, by the way, but we'll get to that. Number one, despite being devilishly handsome and quite good at mathematics, I am a memester through and through. I like good, clean memes. And I think one of the funniest things that a content creator could do is take a rare into the minigame or into Godforge. I think that is so funny. And it's going to take a lot to get me off of Shinigami because it's so funny. I could not, it's so tempting just to be a memester, right? I like account progress, eat your heart out, right? Like I want to be a memester above all else. So I think that video, that live stream would be going over what is a legendary that I like the play pattern enough of to pull me off of Shinigami. I think just off the top of my head, I think there's probably 6 or 8 where I think their play pattern is interesting enough that I would take them over the meme factor of Shinigami. And you might know, some of you might know, I had Hell locked in for a while. I went off of Hell because the play pattern of Hell being a chore doing attack scaler was more interesting to me than being this arena revive denier. And I don't play these games to be, I am a pretty good player at it. Obviously, I won the alpha, right? Alpha Wave 3 with the challenge ratings. But I like creative solutions, and I like to play these games a very certain way. So when I played Raid, I did not play super meta teams. I played people I like to play. They're still good, right? I'm not gonna play with bad characters, but I really do. When I say stuff like take who you want to pick, that's the most important thing. We don't know content of the game, man. We don't know the quality of epics. I imagine that they will be pushing epics a little bit more because the gap between legendary and epic felt too great. Obviously, you want a reason to chase legendaries, but I felt like legendaries were just so much more stronger than epics that epics didn't really have their place in the game. And so I would imagine if they push epics to some way as well, right? And so, you can't really make an informed decision when you have not all the information. I hope the website will be out soon too, but I imagine most people have done all their pulls already, right? So, don't feel bad about who you have here. I'm sure there's an epic that'll cover your ground. The game will give you what you need to beat it, right? You'll get your legendaries, you'll get your epics, you'll get your rares you need to fill out your team. And so picking one character to take in the minigame is very strong, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get it, man. Right? It really isn't. Right? And so that's what, if we did a live stream, that's what it'd be about, right? Is just when I say pick who you like, I mean pick who you like. And I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to make a tier list of people I like the vibe of. And that's what we're going to play off of, right? Same thing true for the weapon. You see I switched my weapon from Makahito to Forge Fire. I'm not actually logging this Forge Fire, though. I think your weapon choice is so unimportant. It's not funny. The chance of these weapons to be usable when you get them is pretty low, right? You don't know what stats they're going to roll, right? That was a big thing in the minigame, is rolling for the correct stats. I really don't think your weapon choice matters, man. I think this is such a non-issue. I do not care. I think the only thing I'd say is I don't really see this Ami no Nobuku doing its thing. So I'd advise against taking that. But hey man, just take what you like. Like, we don't know content. We don't know what it does. I want to take Makahito because Makahito has a funny name, and that's really it. And, you know, the Makahito also carried me through the alpha. It was a different Makahito, but I'm really pushing for this like comfort pick stuff, man. Like, this is your account. Like, you know, if you ask me what's strong, I'll tell you what's strong. I'll tell you Heimdall's number 1. I think Vivian's number 2. I think like Quetz and Svarog are floating like 3-ish, right? I think like Shamash is floating like 5-ish, right? I think like most of the other defenders are up there as well. But like at the end of the day, just go off vibes, dude. Like just vibe, right? And for me, I mean, Shinigami and Makahito, these were names I was saying a lot during the alpha. They're part of the vibe now, right? This is my vibe. So I'm vibing with Shinigami Makahito. And that's why, right? That's why I went off of Forge Fire. I want to really encourage people, take what you think is cool. We don't know what's good. We don't know the content of the game. We can speculate quite accurately, I think. I think that we can, you know, I think Team Vitality is going to be very good. But we don't know if an Epic's going to pack that, right? You know, I think Buff Extension and Team Attack is good on Vivian, but we don't know what Epics look like, right? So, like, without knowing the full landscape, and they've made it very clear we're not going to know the full landscape, right? They've said that, and they want to leave surprises for us in the game, which is super fine, right? So, like, don't let people bully you out of your dreams. Don't let, like, just take your meme pics, dude. It'll be funny. That'll be so funny. Like, it's fine, right? Obviously, maybe don't take a rare, right? Unless you're really committed to the bit, which I am. I am so committed. But, you know, if you really like, you know, I like Freya a lot. I think Freya looks really dope. You know, so if you like Freya, take Freya, right? If you like Fujin, I think people are down on Fujin, right? But like, hey, if he vibes with you, you're like, yeah, I'm kind of digging Fujin. Take Fujin, man. Like, don't let people tell you what's best. There is a best, there is a meta, right? But until we know all the content of the game, I don't feel comfortable telling you, hey, you have to take Heimdall. Like, I think Heimdall's very good. But without all the pieces of information, I don't see a reason not to take your pet pick. I really don't. You do not have all the information. Just take what you like. Now, I think imprints are pretty strong, right? I think that I think the two strongest ones you'll see here is Wukong and De Morgan. I also saw people taking Hercules. As for imprints, I think the two strongest imprints, you should go definitely for generic. As we talked about here, it's unlikely your starter weapon will have the stats you care about. Therefore, you will not put on the imprint you think. Do not think your first action will be imprint onto weapon onto character, right? That is not going to be what happens. If you do, that is a bitter mistake. I will have a day 0 guide talking about that, right? Like, we're going to have a day 0 live stream of the game saying, do not do this, right? I hope that they actually lock these weapon and imprints behind like a couple days or something, so the information can get out like, hey, do not do this, because this Makahito could have like a resistance substat, and I really don't want to put my Morgan imprint on like a resistance substat Makahito, right? I'd really want that on a different type of weapon, right? People were talking to about Foresight and Aten with with the Morgan's imprint on the Aten. I think that's a great idea. However, don't do that day 1, because you don't know what stat your Aten's rolling, right? You want your Aten to roll accuracy, right? So you can land your buff. So you want attack to do more damage. I think actually to be the safest bet. So if you roll an accuracy Aten, then yeah, sure, put your future sight on it. I think that's going to be quite a strong weapon combo. But it's unlikely to get that, right? A lot of the alpha was forming these weapons. So I would say for your imprint, just do an investment into the future, right? If you say, hey, yeah, I think AoE DR is really good. I think Fujin's a fine choice, right? Just pick a reasonable imprint choice. Pick what you want to pick, right? I'm leaning towards Morrigan, right? But like Wukong, obviously, the power of Wukong cannot be overstated. Like, we know the Dagonet passive was absolutely disgusting in the alpha, and Wukong's is just a better version of it. So I think what I want to take away from this is probably 80, let's say 90% of the power is your hero chosen. but you don't know what's good. So don't stress about it. I think 9% of the power of the mini game is the imprint. We don't know what the game's asking us to do, but with imprints being more plug and play, I think taking a generically good one is an easier pick than say the hero you're taking in. Like team attacks are always going to be good. Increasing debuff duration is always going to be good. Decreasing buff duration is always going to be good. Damage reduction against AoE attacks are going to always be good, right? So whatever. And I think your weapon is such low impact. Like honestly, if you told me, hey, I'm not going to take a weapon because I just don't care, I think that I think your account will be just as strong as someone who took a weapon. That's how low impact I think weapons are. Like this is like a 1% of the value of this mini game. Now this mini game is, I think the hero is quite high impact, but take what you want because we don't know the answers, right? There's not like what happens if there's content. I think I've talked about this before, where like what if there's content where accuracy down makes you do quadruple damage, and it makes Set the best hero in the game, right? Because that was the idea. Like Set did actually down, and we just didn't care, right? You know, what if? What if, right? We don't know what the game's asking us to do, so just pick what you like. Pick the play patterns you think you'll like, you think that are interesting that you want to play out with. And that being said, too, just to recap, I do plan on doing a shard pull with these 3K shards, probably next week sometime. I prefer to do a video, like I said earlier, but convince me to do a live stream. I can be convinced. I think it'd be a lot of fun, especially memeing with I don't want to rage bait people, but it's likely I think it's like a 50-50 if I walk away Shinigami or not, honestly, which would be so funny. And yeah, I do not underestimate my memery. I'm a big memester, so I would love to do this. Anyway, take care. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.